Hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join us. 3-game week, anybody? Here we go. It's only a day since we did the review show, but we are back because no sooner is round 15 finished than we are cracking on with round 16, Tuesday night and Wednesday night in the Championship. And you know the drill here. We're going to go through every game and we need your thoughts. And we need your predictions for all of them as ever for the prediction show. We are partnered with Betfair and Football 365. Football 365, where you can find all of my writing. And I've been very, very busy today. We're coming out tomorrow with our big midweek preview. And we've got a tactical preview of Blackburn versus Fulham ahead of what is sure to be a very interesting round 16. By the way, good luck tonight. We've got 10th against 11th, 14th against 15th, 18th against 17th, and 23rd against 24th. We've got a few next door neighbours playing one another in the league table this round. So, yeah, good luck getting your head around that as ever in the Championship. Before we get into the details of all of that, we want to say a big thank you to our fan sponsors, who are the Donovan brothers, who sponsor in memory of their late father and brother, Dennis and Mike, both sorely missed and cheering on Millwall from above. Thank you so much to the Donovan brothers. We already said thank you to Football 365. And they also provide us with the wonder that is the Championship Predictor game. Head over, football365.com. Head along the top. Let me show you the menu along the top there. You see where it says Championship. If you go just to the right of that, obviously we've clicked on it so you can't see it, you'll find the Championship Predictor game where you can log in with your email address and you can join in the fun and get yourself up on the leaderboard. Probably ahead of me as well. But there you go. Not that people gloat and tell me how bad I am at this, but we try our best. We're also going to give you the odds for each of my predictions over at betfair.com. If you fancy a little tipple on any of the games, we can price you up at betfair.com. Of course, for God's sake, please gamble responsibly. BeGambleAware.org, 18 plus only. There is your running order of fixtures down there. We're going to go through them all one by one. Shall we say some hellos in the chat to Zach, Hamza, Ewan, Sarjo, Josh, Catherine, Stephen, who is our watch-along sponsor. Well, his son Luca is. QPR Forever, Jake, Joe, Callum, Damien, Anir, David, Lenny. Got to love a 3-game week. Try doing all the writing, I tell you. Monday's not fun. Welcome, Colm, Daniel, Mike, Jimmy, Matt. Who else have we got in the chat here? James, Patricia, Kinky, John, Noel, Hamza. I think I'm repeating ones now, aren't I? Will, Stefan, W&G fan, Ethan, MR, Fulham 58, and Wayne. That's it. You're very, very welcome, everyone. That's, oh God, and then 3 more come out. Jamie, Bazzy, Mark. Right, there you go. I promise. No more hellos. We've got to get into the big business here, which is our predictions. So let's get into it with game number 1, which is Bournemouth versus Preston. Now, as always, give me your detailed thoughts if you want, or just give me a simple prediction. Bournemouth, draw, or Preston. Bournemouth, draw, or Preston. I remember this game last season. Didn't Scott Sinclair score from the halfway line? And did Preston win this one? I can't quite remember. I remember the Sinclair goal. I know they won at Brentford earlier in the season, Preston. I think they might have beaten Bournemouth there last year. Anyway, this is not last year. This is this year. And this year, Bournemouth are really, 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 really good, aren't they? Played 15, 37 points, 5 clear of Fulham. But the big one, they are 9 clear of third place West Brom. It's been an incredible start. And to reveal a little bit, our player to watch in the Football 365 column is Gary Cahill, who has played 10 games for Bournemouth, won 9, drawn 1. How about that? For Preston, not quite so good, but 6 points in the last 3, 7 in the last 4 for North End. But they are down in 19th in the table. And this is a hard old trip down to the south coast. Get your predictions in, by the way. Bournemouth draw, Preston. Bournemouth draw, Preston. As you can imagine, the table, heavily with Bournemouth, plus 18. The form, heavily with Bournemouth, it's plus 11. Bournemouth, the best team in the league in form. Preston, the 12th best. The homes and aways as well. Bournemouth, the 4th best home team, and Preston are the 22nd best away team. And in terms of goal scoring, Bournemouth second in that list, Preston 17th. The only thing you can cling on to, maybe from a Preston point of view, is they're underperforming their XG apparently, and Bournemouth slightly overperforming theirs. But yeah, that's because they're playing very well and finishing everything that gets put in front of them. Bournemouth, aren't they? Can they go to a 16th game unbeaten? Let's see what you lot are saying in the chat. Fulham 58, I think he's in there first 2-0. Bournemouth. They won 3-2 last year. Thank you. Bournemouth. Anyone varying on this? The Championship loves to throw a spanner in the works. Yes, it does. Maybe Preston under Alex Neil might have been the sort of team. There you go. There's one. You will need the Joker for this one. In the main, we are all behind Bournemouth. There's a couple of Jokers there. Joker for a draw from Stefan. Yeah, absolutely. Right. What am I going to say on this one then? It's so hard not to go with Bournemouth, isn't it? Look, I'll happily be surprised if it's not, but let's dial in home for the first prediction here. Look, we've got to stick with Bournemouth. We'd be crazy not to here. Sorry, Preston fans. Bournemouth have an utterly miserly defence. So let's just plug in a straightforward 1-0 in there to Bournemouth. Bournemouth are second in goals scored, aren't they? Or no, they're not at all. No, let's leave it at 1-0. Let's leave it there. Sorry, my bad. Bournemouth, of course. Or are they? Yeah, they're joint. Yeah, they're okay. I'm in an hurry now. I'll leave it at 1-0. That was my first instinct. So we'll go with Bournemouth to beat Preston 1-0. You get 5-1 over on Betfair if you want to take that one on. And on we go for Blackburn versus Fulham. This is on Wednesday night. Tactical preview will be going up on Football 365 tomorrow. It is Blackburn versus Fulham. Let me know your detailed thoughts on Ben Brereton Diaz versus Alexander Mitrovic in this one. Blackburn draw or Fulham? Blackburn draw or Fulham? Look, Blackburn aren't terrible, but Fulham are just smashing goals in past everybody left and right. I was having a look at Marek Rodek for the article. He's played 4 games for Fulham, an aggregate score of 13-1 since he's been in the team. He's having a lovely old time, isn't he? Like Gary Cahill. So look, Blackburn are in 7th on back-to-back wins. Both of these sides do love a goal. It could be a potential high scorer. Of course, with Fulham, we can't ignore Mitrovic, who's just an absolute standout with his goal scoring. We thought Tony was good last season, but he's looking like he's going to completely blow him out of the water if he stays anywhere near this. Mitrovic, believe it or not, there are 31 games to go, and he only needs 12 goals to get 30 for the season, which is a goal every 2.35 games or something like that. So he can basically act like a goal-scoring midfielder for the rest of the season and still be absolutely fine to get to the 30. Let's see if he stays fit. What I will say about Fulham, each time they've been kept to 1 goal or fewer, they haven't won any of those games. So they've dropped points in all the games. They've needed to score 2 goals to win a game. But every time they have scored 2 goals, they've won all 10 of those games. So basically, if the Fulham attack clicks, they will win. And if it clicks, they score more than 2, they win 10 out of 10 of those games. So can Mr. Lenihan and Jean-Paul Van Heck and Thomas Kaminski at the back there, can they keep Mitro and Wilson particularly quiet. The numbers, as you can imagine, in the table, not much in it. 7th and 2nd, of course. The form, there is quite a lot. Fulham 2nd in the form. Blackburn 16th. And the homes and aways as well. Fulham are the 3rd best home team. Away team, excuse me. Blackburn only the 10th best away team. And we are expecting goals. 1st and 5th in the goal scoring charts here, with both sides pretty close to their XG. Blackburn, we think, a slight, very slight overperformance. Fulham, an even slighter underperformance. That's a bit scary, isn't it? Let's see what you lot are saying in the chat here. Where shall we start? Let's start here. Fulham, Blackburn 1, Mitro 2. There you go. Away, Fulham, 2-2, Fulham. A couple of draws in there. Alex has gone home. There you go. Let's stop this. We're allowed more than one good striker in the league. Fulham draw. Fulham 6 goals there. Mitro to get all 4. I wouldn't even be surprised. Half a joker. Yeah, you probably don't need to play the joker to go for Blackburn. They are 7th in the league. Maybe you can save that for later if you want. Draw. High scoring away. A few people going for Desmond's and scoring draws and things of that nature. Let's get these all clicked on here. Both teams to score. That may well be in my bet bill, the treble, for sure. There we go. God, what price? Another Mitrovic hat-trick is getting shorter and shorter. I think he's worth a punt as an anytime scorer. I can just see him scoring anytime he wanders onto a pitch at the moment at championship level. I'm going with Fulham, guys. Sorry. I know it seems dull. It's a parachute cartel. Away. And I do agree with you guys saying both teams to score. And I can see Fulham racking up another 3, I think. So I'm going to go 3-1 to Fulham in this one. Not that long a price. 12-1 you'll get from our partners. Betfair on that one. I've gone for them to just keep smashing the goals in. And the top 2 I've gone, they're going to be sailing off into the distance if this keeps going the way it is. But they, frankly, look, they are already out in front, especially when you go back to 5th position. So, hey, why not? It's what's been happening so far. Right, on to the next. And it is West Brom versus Hull. I sense a bit of a landslide in the predictions. Maybe we don't need to say too much on this one. West Brom versus Hull. Now, okay, I know West Brom have had a little bit of a slip recently. 3 defeats in 5. Did still win the other 2 games. A little gap of 4 points opening up between Fulham and West Brom in 2nd and 3rd. But they're playing Hull, for goodness sake. Nobody has lost more games in the Championship than Hull this season. Nobody has scored fewer goals. We did get an announcement from Hull yesterday. They're in due diligence. A sale could be imminent. Who would have thought that Hull would get sold before Derby, potentially? But there you go. Look, it's going to be a very, very tall order for Hull to go to the Hawthorns and get anything in this one, isn't it? Huge disparities in some of the stats. The table is 3rd and 22nd. The form table, West Brom actually not that high up, only 11th. The homes and aways heavily in West Brom's favour. They're the 3rd best home team in the division. Hull are the 21st best away team. And in terms of goals, I mean, West Brom are the 4th best scoring team in the league. Hull are well bottom of that league. And both sides apparently just underperforming their XG. But yeah, you may well need to use your joker if you're predicting Hull getting anything in this one. It doesn't sound like an easy one for poor old Grant McCann. Let's start here. Well, there you go. We'll start with a Hull. Might be the only one. Noel, okay, there's 2 aways. Put your money where your mouths are, guys, and you will make bank over at betfair.com. Lenny is a Hull fan. He's gone for the baggies. Draw baggies. Matt Ishmael tends to grind out ugly wins. Don't think Hull are capable of parking the bus, aren't they? 3-1, West Brom, baggies. And let's just scroll down here. We'll see if anything else pops up. You lot are heavily behind the baggies as you can imagine. Could be a cricket score, says John, especially with an early goal. All of you playing jokers, I'd love to see if you actually had to bet some of your hard-earned on it, how many jokers would be coming out for that one. But there you go. Look, sorry, I'm going to go for all of the Parachute Cartel to win. They're playing Hull. Hull is struggling. Home. Let's go for a home win. And yeah, I don't necessarily think it'll be an absolute spanking, or will it? Let's try and boost our odds here over on Betfair. Bang, bang, bang. Let's go 3-0. 3-0 to West Brom we are going for, which you will get 8-1. Can I just do something for you facetious people playing jokers in this one? A 1-0 to Hull, 18-1, 40-1 for a 2-0 to Hull, and 150-1 if you really believe, and you're not just popping it in the chat for giggles, for SHITs and giggles in the chat there. There we go. So I've gone 3-0 and Betfair will give you 8-1 on that. Right. We think possibly the top three are all fairly strong favourites. Maybe not. Fulham, maybe not a strong favourite in the same terms as Bournemouth and West Brom are this midweek. But as you guys always say, it's the Championship, isn't it? Anything can happen. This sounds like a great game, by the way. Coventry versus Swansea. Get me your thoughts in on this one and your predictions. Coventry draw, Swansea. Coventry draw, Swansea. Two good sides. Swansea haven't yet translated it into league position, but they're heading in the right direction, aren't they? Coventry sure as hell have. And they're banking on their brilliant home record. And they're at home as well. Coventry have only not won one of their games. I think it's 1-6, drawn 1 at home. No defeats for Coventry. They are supremely good at home. But Swansea, 13 points in 7. Pirro, Patterson, Laird. It's building up fairly. I think Grimes might be injured, possibly. Someone will let me know if I'm wrong about that in the chat. Should be a good game of football, although we thought Fulham might turn up and have a pop at Coventry's home record. Coventry beat them 4-1, by God. Tail of the Tape says the table obviously has Coventry 9 places ahead. In the form chart, Coventry only 13th, Swansea 9th, so Swans edge in that one. On the homes and aways, Coventry, as you can imagine, are hot favourites. Second best home team against 20th best away team. Just a 1 away win for Swansea this season at Bristol City. We did it as a watch-along. And in terms of goals, they're fairly goal-shy, Swansea, although Pirro and Patterson particularly are now changing that. Both sides slightly overperforming their XG. Be a good watch, this one. I'm sure a few of you would be on the red button for this one. I haven't got a clue how to call this, so I might nick some of your predictions in the chat here. Lenny, does Swansea warrant a joker? No, I wouldn't say so. No, I don't think you need the joker for that one. Anthony, tricky home fixture with Swans picking up some good film. Gyökeres, yeah, you definitely have a point to prove. He's gone 2-1. Cov. Swansea getting into gear, says Matt. Coventry's, yeah, there will be a difference in tempo. I agree with Alex on that one. Can Swansea control the game, though? Draw. Cov, away. Another one for Swans there. Draw, Swans, draw. Cov, draw. Home, Cov due to the home form. Draw, Swans. Draw, Cov, draw. Be a good watch. Fancy a draw, says John. Draw for Josh. Draw for Yari. Loads of draws in here, guys. I'll try and get all of your... All right, calm down. Wrong. I think he needs to go in the fake news sin bin for rudeness there. Turnip plays. We communicate in a slightly more grown-up way than that. Brereton, Diaz. Anyway. Swans there. Coventry draw. Gyökeres to score. Well, yeah, Godden at the moment, isn't it? And a draw for David. I don't know what I'm going to go for here. Do I go with the homes and aways, which puts Coventry? Do I go with the current form? Will they even itself out? I think I might land where a lot of you have. Draw. Let's go for a draw in this one. Low scoring draw, I'll say then. Let's go for a 1-1. I think a few of you had that down in the chat. 5-1 you will get from Betfair for a 1-1 draw, which is what we have gone for, or what I have gone for there. And we're going to move on to the next one, which is Peterborough versus Huddersfield. Peterborough versus Huddersfield. Get your predictions in for this one. Peterborough are better at home than they are away from home. They're very bad away from home. Huddersfield are pretty good everywhere, and they're very much surprising me. They are the set-piece gurus as well, Huddersfield. 9 set play goals out of 19 for Huddersfield, I think, already this season. They're up in 5th position with 8 points in those last 5 games. A couple of splurges of wins for Huddersfield as well. Get your thoughts in. Peterborough draw, Huddersfield, Peterborough draw, or Huddersfield. Obviously, the table is heavily behind Huddersfield. The form is also actually Huddersfield 8th in the form, Peterborough 17th. The homes and aways goes with Huddersfield, and the goals goes with Huddersfield as well. However, the XG picks up an over performance that could right itself, or Huddersfield could just be scoring and finishing a lot of their chances. Let's have a little look in the chat and see what you lot are saying. Let's start here. There we go. Right, 3-1 Huddersfield from Adam. Chesa for the posh. Remember the playoff final at Old Trafford? Was it Old Trafford? I never remembered that. Jordan Rhodes, I'm thinking. 3-1 Posh, 3-1 Huddersfield draw, Huddersfield, 0-0, 2-0 Terriers, Posh. Fairly mixed this one. Huddersfield 2-0, Posh, Huddersfield, Posh, Huddersfield, Posh, Huddersfield, away, draw. Just try and focus on the game we're talking about, guys. I'm getting ones for all sorts of results popping up here. 2-2 Huddersfield, 2-1 Huddersfield, 2-2 draw, strong at home, Posh the Joker, draw, 2-1 Huddersfield. I'm struggling with this one. Do I think Huddersfield are going to... But then I didn't think Huddersfield were going to turn up to Blackpool and win, and they turned them over 3-1. Do you know what? I might go with Huddersfield. Or do I want to go with a draw? Go on, screw it. All in on Huddersfield. Away! Why not? Let's go with the league table. I seem to be going with the favourites on every single one, judging by the league table. What are you going to do, hey? Let's go 2-1 Huddersfield. You'll get 8-1 from Betfair on that one. Head over to betfair.com. Do make sure you are tuned in on Football 365 and you're signed up and you're playing along on the Championship Predict a Game. We are going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Game number 6 for us. The Stanley Matthews Derby is Blackpool versus Stoke. Let me know what you think on this one. Blackpool versus Stoke. Get me your detailed predictions in. Blackpool draw, Stoke, Blackpool draw, or Stoke. Blackpool are just very, very good at the moment as well, aren't they? They are in the form table, Blackpool, the 3rd best team in the division. Stoke are the 21st best team in the division. Obviously, if you did it on resources, you'd land on Stoke's side. But, hey, that's not the way, is it? And Blackpool collectively and as a team and have a very good manager as well. They're just at it at the moment. I think it's like 17 points in 8 or something ridiculous for Blackpool at the moment. And they are in the top 6 after that 3rd win on the trot at Sheffield United. Stoke had a horrific 3-game week, didn't they? They lost all 3 and then got back on Saturday, got themselves 3-0 up and then drew 3-3. So something is not quite right at Stoke at the moment. on the basis of the last 4 games only. I think they're very good up to then. I think that goes up to their victory against West Brom, where they were pretty impressive. Table has Blackpool by 3. Form table is heavily in Blackpool's favour. Homes and aways, Blackpool, not great actually, 14th best home team, but Stoke are the 19th best away team. And in terms of goals, it actually works in Stoke's favour. Big XG overperformance by Blackpool. They are scoring all of their chances at the moment, and they are making a mockery of that lovely XG statistic. Let's have a look and see what you lot are saying in this one. Blackpool versus Stoke. We're going to start there. Jonathan has gone for Stoke. Blackpool. Matt on the Blackpool train. Lots of people are now. Blackpool, Stoke, Blackpool. Stoke have left the building. Draw. There's one for Stoke. Blackpool. We're all over the place here. Draw, Blackpool. I think in the main it's going as a home win. 0-0. Hard to bet against Blackpool. Blackpool. Stoke. Blackpool. Stoke have a few injured players. Yeah, tell us more. 1-0 Blackpool. Draw. Oh, there's the 0-0. By the way, you all need to play a 0-0 at some point as well. Blackpool, Desmond, draw, and another Desmond there. Oh, God, there's some real hard ones to call. On form, obviously, it's Blackpool. On resources, it's Stoke. Over the years, Stoke hasn't really worked that way. So let's go with the form then. Or will Stoke have enough to eke out a point? Go on, I'll go down the middle. Draw! I was so close to calling that for Blackpool there. Do you know what? I could use my 0-0 on this one, couldn't I? I could just use my 0-0. Go on, let's get it out the way. 0-0. Blackpool and Stoke 0-0. You've got to play. There will be a 0-0 draw somewhere statistically, so we'll go for Blackpool and Stoke. You get 15-2 on Betfair. I've touched nothing. You can see it over there. We'll go for our 0-0. Remember, you lot have got to play your 0-0s as well. And we're going to go on to Cardiff versus QPR. Get your detailed thoughts or just a simple prediction. Cardiff draw, QPR. Cardiff draw, QPR on this one. Cardiff didn't lose at the weekend, having lost 8 games on the trot. I say they didn't lose. That's unfair. They mounted this magnificent comeback in the space of 5 minutes from 3-0 down, of course, away at Stoke, who we were just talking about. Does that give them the little boost? I don't know. QPR a little bit wishy-washy at the moment, aren't they? They're just not pressing home. We think they're a good side, but they do silly things like concede late goals and leak lots of goals and give up leads, despite when you watch them, you think, oh, they're a good side. But, yeah, not quite there. And when you look just outside the playoffs, kind of in microcosm, tells us a lot about QPR, who were everyone's dark horses at the start of the season, to the point we started calling them the light horses because it was too obvious. In the table, obviously, QPR a long way ahead. And in the form, Cardiff are the second worst team in the division. Only Barnsley propping them up there. Homes and aways, Cardiff have the 23rd best home record. QPR only the 16th best away record. In terms of goals, QPR are third in that particular table and Cardiff are 20th. We have apparently a big underperformance of the XG from Cardiff as well. That could be a confidence thing where every shot they're facing is going in, but you never know. Let's see what you lot are saying in the chat on this one. Cardiff versus QPR. Let's dive in here with Catherine. I thought you already played your Joker, Catherine. You can only play it once. Cardiff, QPR draw, Cardiff. We need someone to oversee the rules here. QPR draw, QPR. I fancy Morrow to S-House a win here. You love to see it. That means Cardiff, QPR. Steve Morrison, victory again. He only drew the first one, David. QPR, the derby that ended Neil Harris. Cardiff 2-1. New manager bounce. Wouldn't that have been last weekend? Hey, naughty player bounce is what I call it. Rangers, Cardiff, Rangers, draw. QPR, draw, home. Cardiff, plenty of money going on. Mike Flynn, maybe that will get sorted in the international break. 2 championship jobs open, of course. Right, let's click on all of these. Boom, 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 boom. Are QPR flaky enough to go to Cardiff and lose? I'm not sure they are. Oh, God, it's another hard one to call, isn't it? Do you know, I think I might sit on a draw in this one. It'll be my 3rd so far, but screw it. I'm going to do it. Let's go scoring draw in this one. Draw! How scoring? QPR score a lot of goals and Cardiff underperform their XG, so we can find a 2-2. Let's get a Desmond in there. They're a rarity, but we always call them, don't we? When we think games are even and both teams are going to score. 10-1. 10-1 at Betfair for Cardiff 2, QPR 2. Let's go for that. It'd be a good fun outcome, won't it? Let's move on. And it is Luton versus Boro. Get involved in this one, please. Luton versus Boro. Give me detailed thoughts, or simply Luton draw, Boro. Luton draw or Boro. Luton, we think, are quite good and are quite consistent, but they lost at the weekend. Need to bounce back after that defeat at Preston, which sounded like a bit of an off day for Luton. Boro, no idea. Absolutely no idea. I'm not going to say anything sensible about Boro because all of their last 6 games have been 2-0. They've won 4 of them 2-0 and lost 2 of them 2-0. They're just a little bit hodgepodgey all over the place, although it looks like they're starting to shape the team, but we're 16 games in with Sporar and Ikpeazu up top, and Pereiro and Crooks seem to both be playing. Get them all in the team is what Warnock's doing now, isn't he? Table is tight, 10th and 11th in Luton's favour. Form is tight, 5th and 7th in Boro's favour. God, homes and aways is tight, 12th and 13th in Boro's favour. Goals goes quite heavily in Luton's favour. They're the 6th best, Boro the 15th best. Both sides apparently underperforming their XG. Luton not quite to the extent they were a few weeks where they were miles back off it and we expected a surge up the table from Luton. I think that came and just mitigated by that recent loss. All I know is it's going to be 2-0. I don't know which way. I do not know which way. Let's have a look and see what you lot are saying in the chat here. Jake, I know Luton are struggling. I have a feeling we will struggle heading on top. Possible injuries. Yeah, he's playing the 2-0 game there. Borough. Did I wrongly accuse Catherine of playing a Joker twice? My bad. There's a lot going on, Catherine. I'll write you a letter. My bad. 1-1 stalemate. Borough had a kind week. They did, yeah. And then they lost at home to Birmingham. Borough draw. Bazzy's playing as 0-0. Draw. Luton draw. Few people playing the 0-0 on this one. Another 3 there. Simon Kinky and Patricia. 3-0 Luton, 2-1 Luton. Draw. Zach's playing the 0-0. Hamza's playing the 0-0. Have I missed a trick on this one? You lot have already played mine on Blackpool and Stoke. Draw. Another 0-0 in there. Draw. Away wing. Colin to play 7 attackers again. You love to see it. 2-0 Warnock. Meltdown. Don't worry about that, Robert. We'll email me direct about that. We'll sort that. New people play the 0-0 here. Luton, Borough. Borough will do a 2-0 win over that. It's that tight. No, you don't need a joker on that one. You're right. Sarjo, 2-0 Luton says, Rob, so look, I've got to go 2-0 because all of Borough's games are 2-0 at the moment. I've got absolutely no idea which way to go. If I can find a coin in this room, I'll literally flip a coin. Luton back to form. Borough is so unpredictable. Go on then. Borough are so unpredictable. Away. No logic to that other than that Borough are completely confusing. So as much as I think it's a bit of a silly prediction, I'm going to go with the 2-0 logic. I'm going to go 2-0 Borough. Why the hell not? Luton 0, Boro 2, 13-1 over at Betfair for that one. And I'll throw my hands up in the air again. I don't have a clue. I haven't played my Joker yet, by the way, you lot. Game number 9 is Millwall versus Reading. Get your thoughts in on this one. Detailed thoughts, please, or just Millwall draw or Reading. Millwall draw or Reading. Try and make those points more ostentatious. Millwall, it was a few teams felt like had been on a good run that all lost at the weekend. Millwall, Middlesbrough, Luton, among the few that we've been talking about. So Millwall dropped in 12th. They were drawing most of their games, and now they're having to draw for 6 or 7 games, I think. Reading, well, we thought Reading was slightly... I think they nearly won 6 in 7, didn't they, at one point? And then a drop-off, 3 straight defeats, in fact. We thought they were slightly overdoing it and performing a little bit above themselves. But what we always say about Reading is Reading have the technical quality in Swift and Ajaria, particularly, to beat anybody pretty much. It's just getting it all locked and loaded and firing on the same day. A trip down to the Den then for the Royals. The table is in Borough's favour. The form is quite heavily in Borough's favour, 6-19 there. Homes and aways, nothing in it. Millwall 17th best home team, Reading 18th best away team. In terms of goals, it does go in Reading's favour, I have to say. And could this be one of the games where, we get Reading smashing 2 25-yarders within the first 25 minutes and we all go, oh, they do have some good players. Let's see what you lot are saying. I'm on the fence again. Some real difficult calls this round, I have to say. Mill. There's a 0-0. Kinky played pretty well against Bournemouth, going Reading. Mill. Halilovic back. Who are you going for, Mr. E? Mill. Reading. Mill. Reading. Mill. Draw. Away, unless Gary Rowett stops being so stubborn. That ain't going to happen. Mill, depends who's up front for Reading. I don't think Aziz is back and Maite's out and Zhao's out. Probably be Pushkas. Again, 3-0 to the Lions. Draw. Mill. Reading. Mill. Reading. Mill. Draw. Mill. Reading. Third 0-0 of the round. Simon's stacking them up there. Draw. And I think 4 more for Millwall there. I think Reading are going to score in this game. And are Millwall really going to score 2? I don't know. Are they? Go on. Home. Let's go with the chat then. We'll go for Millwall. I'm unsure whether they're going to score twice, but I will go 2-1 then on the basis that I think Reading are going to score in this one. Millwall 2, Reading 1 is our call, or my call rather, on this one. You get 7-1. Betfair.com on that one. And we are going to move on. And it is Birmingham versus Bristol City in this one. Get your detailed thoughts in. Birmingham draw, Bristol City. Birmingham draw, Bristol City. Bristol City finally won a home game. Thank God for the poor old Bristol City fans. I know we had stadium closures and whatnot, but still, 10 months, wasn't it? Yeah, January through to October for Bristol City to finally win a home game. I mean, they're away here, and Bristol City are good away from home. 5th best away team in the league. I have a feeling Birmingham are improving. I thought they were quite good when they lost to West Brom. I thought that was quite unlucky. Then they kept a clean sheet, batting down the hatches against Huddersfield. Then a good win against Swansea and an away win at Boro. I see a trend up for Birmingham. And Bristol City, I see inconsistency. Bristol City could win this 3-0 and no one would be surprised. They could lose it 3-0 and no one would be surprised. They're a bit hodgepodgey. Again, there's a lot of tight numbers on this one. Get your predictions in. Birmingham draw, Bristol City. Birmingham draw, Bristol City. It's 14th and 15th in the table. In the form table, it goes with Birmingham 16th to 20th. The homes and aways is heavily in Bristol City's favour with that good away record, 5-19. The goals go with Bristol City by 5. Birmingham do not score many. However, there's a big XG disparity with Bristol City a bit of an overperformance and Birmingham quite a big underperformance. And we all know that's Mr. Hogan, brother, isn't it? Not finishing his chances, we think. Not finishing his chips. Let's have a look. Sorry, let me just mute. If you put in more than one comment, it does clog up the... You only need to put your comment in once. It does work. I will have to be forced to put you in the timeout so I can see the actual comments there. Right. Let's have a look here. Juan, home, Birmingham. First home win since forever bounce. That's tremendous, Stefan. 0-0. Ben's playing as 0-0. 2-0. Bristol City. Oh, you don't need the joker for Bristol City, do you? Where are they? No, you're all right with that one. Keep it in your pocket, Bazzy. 0-0. Robins draw. Bristol City 3-2. I like the sound of that. Sounds like a fun game. Birmingham away. 1-1. You're telling me, Rob, this round of games is difficult. I think there's going to be a few low scores in the Football 365 game. Match played is 0-0. Draw. 2-1 Blues. Draw. Brom. Blues away. Where am I going here? Zach, sorry. After beating Boro, Chong may not be back and Etheridge could feature. Why would they take Sarkic out, Zach? He's been playing well, hasn't he? Hard to call. 1-0. They're all hard to call, aren't they, this week? Draw, Birmingham, score, draw. I'm going to click on as many as I can there, hopefully. Defensive sections we sorted, says JC. Yeah, Sanderson looks like he's in for the season now. Jordan Graham at right wing back. Who would have thought it there? I'm going to go for Birmingham. My spidey sensors say they're improving. They don't score many, but I think they can get the shutout with the back three. Home. And I think we're going to plumb in a 1-0. Bristol City got quite good attack, haven't they? Vyman, Martin and Wells. Maybe I better go 2-1. Let's go 2-1 Blues. Love a 2-1. If you're not sure, go for a 2-1. There we go. 7-1 over on Betfair. I'll go for Blues on that one. If you are going to have a little tipple, please gamble responsibly. 18 plus only. BeGambleAware.org as ever. Right, 2 to go, guys. How is this so low down in the running order? Nottingham Forest versus Sheffield United. 2 big clubs in 18th and 17th place in the Championship. Hey, there's some big clubs, maybe not as big as Forest, but some big clubs in League One. So what are you going to do about that? Get your predictions in or your thoughts. Forest draw, Sheffield United. Forest draw, Sheffield United. Or give me your detailed thoughts. So, all you believers in the new manager bounce, I guess that ended now. Steve Cooper's got 1 point in the last 2 games. Late draw against QPR. Not much in that game. I know it's a late draw and people always say late draws are lucky, but, you know, is what it is. I don't think it was the most unviable 1-1. Is that a word? You put un and a hyphen before anything, can't you? Sheffield United obviously should be better than they are, given their players and their manager, but it don't always work like that, does it? Forest 18th, Sheffield United 17th. In the form chart, Forest 4th, Sheffield United 18th. That's still taking into account the Steve Cooper winning streak, isn't it? In the homes and aways, shocking. Forest 24th best home team, Sheffield United 18th best away team. Neither of them very good. Forest still paying for the sins of Krissy Utd earlier in the season. Not much in it in the goals, 10th and 12th. So it sounds like we could expect goals in this one. Forest, just slight underperformance on the XG. Sheffield United, a more pronounced underperformance. Let's see what you lot reckon in the chat on this one. Does home form take Forest home in this one? Joker being played on the score. There you go. Full time. Then we go 2-1. Blades. Forest draw. Forest. Blades. Forest. Draw. 0-0 for Jake. Forest. Blades draw. Forest. Blades. Forest. Draw. Forest. Draw. Forest. I think you lot in the main are on Forest. I just think at the moment, in managerial terms, I just think Slavisa Jokanovic is just a bit behind Steve Cooper. But can they nab a point? How many draws have I got in here? 1, 2, 3. Can we fathom a fourth draw? Can we? I'm not sure we can. So I need to go for a decisive result on this one. Oh, God, I can't call this one, guys. I keep going with Blades and they keep mugging me off. So go on then, I'll go with Forest. I'm doing it. Home. I've decided. Forest. Both sides love a goal. So let's go. Go on, let's go for a fun one. 3-1 Forest. Let's get Zinkernagel back starting Steve Cooper. And we'll go for a 3-1, which the Blade fans won't be happy with. Betfair think that's very unlikely. Look, 20-1 at betfair.com. Probably not going to happen, according to our partners over at Betfair. But hey, stranger things have happened. Remember, it's a liability, not a probability when we're talking about odds. Right, last one. Good luck with this one. Barnsley versus Derby. Get your predictions in. Barnsley versus Derby. Another really tricky one to call. Barnsley have been utterly dreadful. But you guys who play the new manager bounce game are going to be telling me, oh, shop's gone. Will the caretaker, and whose name I've forgotten, and someone will put it in the chat, will he get a bounce? You tell me. Barnsley draw Derby. Barnsley draw Derby. There's not much you can say about Barnsley. Every stat is abject at the moment. Fewest wins in the division. They would be bottom if it wasn't for Derby's points deduction. 7 defeats on the trot. They're just not very good at the moment. And they look really short of confidence. But will the new manager bounce give them something in this game in terms of confidence, a belief? I don't know. Derby, they just don't win enough games for me. They're in this battle down the bottom, and Rooney's kind of manfully made a side that's kind of hard to defeat. But they've only won 3 games this season, and only Hull and Barnsley have won fewer games than Derby. So for all Rooney's been very statesmanlike and made them hard to beat and all of that good stuff, they're not going to survive as things stand. The points per game needs to go up. I think it needs to go up around 1.2, doesn't it? And they're not quite there. I think they're 1.13 or something. So that will taper off and they'll leave themselves a lot to do unless they start winning games. Can they start at Oakwell? And this is a bit of a tale of woe. Listen to these numbers. 23rd and 24th in the table. That goes in Barnsley's favour, but on pitch, really, that's in Derby's favour. Form, Barnsley worst in the league. Derby 15th. Homes and aways, Barnsley 21st best team at home. Derby 17th best team away. Goals per game, 22nd and 23rd in the league. Only Hull are worse at scoring goals than these two. And not much in the XG. They're both, I mean, it's got Barnsley, I think, like a place higher or something they should be, according to the probability of the chances they've had. But, yeah, it's not good. Maybe we should have saved the 0-0 for this one. Feels like a tight one with not much in it, doesn't it? Let's see what you lot are saying. In the chat, I'm scrolling. There we go. Matt. Caretaker came with Ishmael and got sent off in the fight at Stoke. Apparently, he's very passionate. Well, there you go. Let's see if he can keep his calm with Mr. Rooney. He does seem to stay very calm, doesn't he? 0-0. 3-2 Derby, says Mark. Barnsley, 0-0. Davey, really? Go and get involved on that on Betfair and you'll make bank. Draw, 1-0 Derby, Barnsley, Derby. Barnsley, draw, Derby, Barnsley. Don't need your joker. They're so close together in the table. Draw. Oh, is that the caretaker's name? Joseph Lehman. Barnsley, 2-1 Reds. Barnsley, massive game. Useless, unhelpful draw. We love an unhelpful draw. Draw. Joseph Lehman, different spelling there. Home win. Derby, Barnsley, Derby. New manager bounce for Barnsley. Then obviously draw Barnsley. There we go. Right. So I need to go 1-0 either way. I hate to do this, but I think I'm going to go for a misery-inducing, and I apologise, Barnsley fans. Away. Don't hate me, Barnsley fans. We had such fun, all of us, last season. Well, you were finishing 5th. I'm going to go for Derby to win this one 1-0 just because of pure misery for poor old Barnsley. By the way, they've got Hull at the weekend, haven't they? A couple of vital games for Barnsley. Let's go for Derby then. And a 1-0 will give you 8-1 over at Betfair. Right. We'll go to a little bit of Q&A now. So get your questions, any topics. We'll go until the hour mark if questions come in. If they don't, I'll leave you all to watch Monday Night Football. Who's on in Monday Night Football tonight? That must be starting in a minute, mustn't it? Wolves and Everton. There you go. I'm sure you're all going to be watching that. Get your questions in. If you will indulge me, a quick couple of plugs before we do. Comments, I don't need to tell you that. You lot have been outstanding in the chat, as you always are. Make sure you hit like before you either ask me a question or leave to watch Monday Night Football. Please hit subscribe. I'm sure most of you have already. You can support me via Super Chat. Press that dollar button next to where you leave your comments. Right, I'm going to lock in my predictions over on Football 365. You can see I have gone for Boro, Huddersfield, Millwall. I've gone for Coventry, Swansea to draw. I've gone for Birmingham, Forest, Fulham, Bournemouth, Cardiff and QPR to draw, Blackpool and Stoke to draw, Barnsley to lose to Derby, and West Brom to beat Hull. I don't think I played my joker through the whole night, so I'm going for favourites, but still a £1 bet at betfair.com on all of my predictions combined will pay you 38,000 to 1. So please, if you do that and you do win, split the money between the chat. And when you're on Football 365, you'll be asked to confirm your predictions. And there you go, all greyed out. Another week of embarrassment for me. Right, should we go to some Q&A? And let's see what we're going to get. Jay, was it you who were repeatedly asking what 3 teams getting promoted last time? I don't know, but go for the parachute cartel at the moment is all I will say. No, Sarge, come on the Wickham. I'm going to be at your game tomorrow night. I will be at Wickham versus Ipswich tomorrow. There you go. Good question. Jake, thoughts on Ipswich's chances trip to dearly departed Wickham? Slim. They've got to stand up and be counted. If Ipswich get a score and draw out of that, I'll be very, very much happy. Ben, will Barnsley go back to Europe for their new manager? I suspect they will. Who have we had? Stendhal, Struber, Ishmael, and Shop. Been there such a short time, I've forgotten myself. But yeah, I think it will be another European hire. Surely they're not going to stop using what's worked on. Look, Stendhal got them up. Struber was good. He just had a lot of ground to make up when he arrived. And Ishmael was brilliant. It's only Shop that's gone the way of the pair, hasn't he? JC, now that Blues have sorted out their issues, Harley Dean and co., how high do you see them climbing? I agree with you, JC, that they've sorted out their issues, and I do think they're trending up. The problem for people like Birmingham is they're sort of viable teams there, Millwall, Middlesbrough. Then there's teams that just punch their weight, like Luton and, higher up, the likes of Coventry, Huddersfield and Blackpool. Birmingham are going to have to be pretty good and also punch their weight to find their way up into the top half. I suspect you'd be happy with top half, wouldn't you, JC, given possible dips there. Will Nuno take a championship side? I wouldn't have thought so, David. I think he'll think he is a Premier League manager after... Did he get 3 7th places with Wolves? Look, I know he absolutely hammered the championship, but... let's be honest, I think if a few of us clubbed together in the chat as managers of Ruben Neves, Diogo Jota, Ivan Cavaliero and Willy Bolly, I think we'd probably finish quite high up in the championship as well. If you could make an album with Michael Jackson or Elvis, who would you pick? I think I picked Michael Jackson, actually, but I'm sure that won't be popular. But I've seen footage of him in the studio, and he seemed some kind of weird, savant, genius type guy. So there you go. Wenlock, can you see Norwich getting rid of Farke? Seems to be a bit of momentum. Do you know what? 4 or 5 weeks ago, I would have said no. I'd like to see what it would take for Norwich to get rid of Farke, excuse me. But yeah, now they're 9 without a win, and they lost 7-0 last week as well. Yeah, I can see it happening. They've got Brentford next before the international break. If, for example, they were to lose 3 or 4-0 at Brentford, that could be it, couldn't it? Just the momentum and the groundswell could be too much for Farke, who was a brilliant manager in the Championship, but has frankly stunk it out in the Premier League, hasn't he? As much as I like him. Have I put that on? What the bet? No, I never do. You haven't seen my record, David. I won't be putting it on. Put it this way. Sam, evening, Ben. I'm very well, thank you. Barnsley need a manager. McCarthy needs a job. Coincidence? It's a nice narrative, isn't it? But that would be the biggest left turn in terms of profile of manager, wouldn't it? Despite the fact he's a bit of a club legend and the obvious emotional draw. How many points will Norwich accumulate this season? God, it looks about 25 at the moment, doesn't it? Yes. Do Blackpool actually have a serious chance of getting promoted? Possibly. We think that the table's getting stretched this season. We think Bournemouth, Fulham and West Brom might be up somewhere around 85, 87 plus points, all of them. And then perhaps, given that we thought the challengers might be the likes of QPR and Stoke, and also, and this is a factor, last season, 2 of the teams that would have parachute payments this season both got promoted, Norwich and Watford, didn't they? So we have fewer teams with that big financial advantage, and Swansea's and Stokes ran out. Huddersfield's ran out, but they weren't spending them anyway. They all went to the old owner. The door is open. The door is open, and there's no reason why a Coventry, a Huddersfield, a Blackpool, who are there, and it might be a low total, it might be 69, 70 to get into the playoffs rather than 72. You never know. It might be that, I mean, what is that? 69, just over 1.5. It is 1.5 points per game, isn't it? That might do it. And you might be in the playoffs with 1.5 points per game. So who knows? If the table stretches how I think it's going to, I think we're going to get a low total at the bottom, a high total at the top, a big stretch, which will mean probably a low playoff total, won't it? So, yeah, of course they have. Rob, Oldham's chances on Saturday, strong when you look at Ipswich's FA Cup record. I think Ipswich will win, Rob, on the basis that we've got such an overblown squad for League One kind of standings that they should have enough to beat Oldham. But Ipswich are terrible in the FA Cup, Rob, so you never know. Wenlock, I like that shout for Alex Neil. I think that was one of the guys in the chat put it in, but yeah, not a bad one. Ryan Lowe or Alex Neil. Which team do you think you got most wrong position-wise this season? Look, it's going to be Barnsley or Huddersfield at the moment. They're going to absolutely scupper me, but many things will change here. Thoughts on Crystal Palace? I like Crystal Palace very much. I like Mark Guay. I like Michael Elise, and I like Eberechi Eze because I love them in the Championship. Mr. Poopams, who are the most underrated players in the Championship, in your opinion? Mr. Poopams, I'm going to give a very pedantic answer to that question, that I actually don't subscribe to the idea of underrated as a principle. I know what you mean, but my answer to underrated is who said what? Tell me what they said, and I'll respond to what they said. I'm not necessarily somebody is underrated because who said what? I don't know. So I would swerve that question. I can tell you who my favourites are in the Championship, but if you let me know who said what, I can tell you whether I think they've overrated or underrated somebody in their opinion. Harry, how's fatherhood going? Absolutely wonderful. Thank you, Harry. My missus is a saint. I'm sure you've all met her on the channel, and we're looking good. Are you happy? We're almost halfway through the season. We're not almost halfway through the season. We're only a third of the way through the season. When is halfway? I think it's Christmas, isn't it? Game 23. But there you go. Do I see a parachute cartel in League One? There are no parachute payments in League One, David. So we can't have one. Although I can see one in the Championship for sure. Wilder for Norwich, eh? How about that? I like that. If we do 5-a-side, will you get a hat-trick? No. I'll stand at the back yelling at everybody. Any plans for the meet-up? We'll get the meet-up sorted, some kind of live show. Ipswich to get to the quarter. Never going to happen, Jake. We are terrible in the FA Cup. Recent form suggests West Brom might be regretting not choosing Chris Wilder. Well, we will see. I just can't see him dropping out of the playoffs. And while you're in the playoffs, you're 3 games away from promotion, aren't you? And with a very nicely stocked squad. Right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Now, there will be no watch-alongs on Tuesday or Wednesday. Don't all shout at once at me because tomorrow night I'll be at Wycombe versus Ipswich, but we'll do a review and a vlog and all of that good stuff. And on Wednesday, it's dear old Shaylee's birthday, so we're going out for dinner in the evening. So unless we can't get Enid to feed from a bottle and Shaylee's mum to look after her, we will hopefully be at a very nice restaurant in a place called Ampthill, just down the road here. And I'll be spending lots of money trying to give my missus a birthday and a Christmas and everything, because none of us seem to have had one for about the last 2 years. So look, we're not going to be around, but we will do something for Wycombe versus Ipswich tomorrow night. We will, of course, be back on Thursday night with the Championship review. And for those people who have been kind enough to subscribe to Championship 365 on the Planet Sport Network, I'll see you tomorrow with Ben HD and with the second tier podcast, guys. Then we will be back on Friday night. It will be the preview for the weekend games. I hope that makes sense for everybody. You all have a good week. Keep in touch. There will be something up tomorrow, maybe late or early Wednesday from Ipswich Wycombe, but we won't be live unless there's big news. And I don't know what that's going to be. Maybe Hull getting taken over. Maybe Derby getting taken over, although I think they're weeks away. But I think all the managers we thought that were going to go have gone, haven't they? So, yeah, we'll see how the week pans out. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you to our partners, Betfair and Football 365. Thank you to our fan sponsors, the Donovan brothers, in memory of our dad, Dennis, and brother Mike, both sorely missed and cheering on Millwall from the pub. And thank you to each and every one of you for watching and for your comments throughout the show. If you've put a shout out in, I'll put it up in the advert. And I'm going to go and watch Curb Your Enthusiasm from last night. Bring it on. And it's a big over and out from me. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.